Okay, so high school state tournaments over, youth state tournaments will be over soon. And then, you know, I think it's time we always kind of reevaluate and correct and move forward. A couple things come to mind. Number one is just take inventory. I just had this conversation with my nephew. I'm like, you take inventory, write it down on a piece of paper. Take a few days. Come and see me. And then I've got my piece of paper already. And then we will compare notes and I will just share my advice. Might be right, might be wrong, might just make some suggestions. But number one, take inventory. So you say, okay, I got third in the state. You know, I thought I would win it this year. I almost won it last year. Or maybe I didn't qualify, maybe I did. I mean, not everybody's chasing the state title, right? Some of you are just trying to qualify because that is the next step for you, which is good. So whether you're trying to be the next world champion 17-year-old, or you're just trying to qualify for state and maybe make varsity, that's all the same. You're here, here's your goal. Let's take some inventory. Now, be very brutally honest. A lot of times it comes down to, you know, the mental game, the confidence, the nerves, the anxiety. The end of season, maybe you're wore down. Maybe you're like, dude, I hate wrestling. I don't want to be there. The weight cutting killed me. I want it to be over with. That's number two. That's an issue. Maybe your confidence. Maybe you have to work on controlling your thoughts, right? You're supposed to be studying sports psychology 2 to 3 hours a week. Did you do that? You probably didn't. How about the weight room? It's tough to lift weights during season, especially if you're a weight cutter. You should be doing 1 or 2 sets of 5 of the 4 or 5 main compound lifts, right? We've talked about that 100 times in practices. Did you try to at least maintain 90% of your strength? Were you overtrained? That's out of your control sometimes. Did your coach make you cut all the way down to your low certified weight back in October, and you had to hold that weight until the state tournament? And then at the end of the year, you're emaciated. You look like you've been starving for 3 months, because you probably have. And maybe you had 6 o'clock a.m. practices all year long, which to me is silly. I've been very vocal about it. I think it's stupid. I think it's stupid. I think it's overtraining. But see, that's not anything I can do. You can't do anything about it. So I don't know if overtraining was an issue, but there's a likelihood of 20% of the kids who just laid a big egg at the end of season. That could be part of it too. And maybe you did everything right. You still didn't win. Okay? Maybe you did everything right, but you still didn't win. Your opponent did everything right. And, you know, we had a girl who was winning 3-0, kind of pulling off an upset, and got hit with an actual beautiful headlock and lost. It was just like, I lost sleep over. I was so depressed and stressed out watching this. So we're trying to cram this success into the 6 minutes. Now, if she had 7 minutes, she would have won the match. If she had 8, she certainly would have won. If she had 9, she might have got headlocked again. Who knows? So there is a crapshoot here taking place. We have to operate within this white boundary. We have a referee calling stalemates when we're just about to turn or just about to finish. They're calling potentially dangerous when we got our opponent turned. We got a 1 count and they call potentially dangerous. And you're like, why would you do that? You just stole my state title. I mean, so the referee is part of it, right? It's a very stressful. I get it. You know, you watch college wrestling, every other match, they challenge, or the referees call referee conferences. It's like, are you guys wrong that often? You know, and you look at the high school and they call out of bounds, and then the kid stops, he looks back, his toes are in bounds by that much. And the other ref runs over and goes, I'm like, dude, why? I almost jumped out of the bleachers. I'm like, why would you agree with him? His freaking feet are in. If you're the supporting referee, you should say, no, that's 2. Toes are in bounds. I don't care if we drank beer together last night or not. That's in bounds. So yes, the referee, it's very stressful. The refs do make mistakes. So there are some things that are out of your control. And we have to accept those. Unfortunately, the things that are in your control, it's not all wrestling moves. Oh, I drilled my moves, so therefore I should win. No, it is weight cutting. It is discipline. It is not staying up late. It is managing your weight. It is managing your anxiety. You know, it is trying to like remove yourself. And if you have a parent who hopefully is doing better, but if you have a parent who just wants to talk about wrestling all the time, it's like activating your nervous system, right? You're like, dude, I got to get away from this. We can't talk about this all the time, right? Maybe your coach is negative. Maybe your coach pushes you too hard. Maybe you push yourself too hard, right? I was a chronic overtrainer. Chronic. Our coaches were smart and I was stupid. If that's you, you got to quit trying to be David Goggins and say, no, I need a rest. I'm just going to have a good practice today. I'm not going to try to win every sprint today. I need to rest my body a little bit. You know, Penn State, Iowa, Oklahoma State, they were heart rate monitors 24/7. I've seen it. There's a computer screen on Oklahoma State Wrestling Room. And everyone's heart rate is monitored. And they do blood testing and they're monitoring their anxiety levels and they're pulling guys off the mat. So, you know, they're training smart at a high level. And here we are just training like barbarians sometimes. Not in Purler Wrestling Academy. We're doing it right. But, you know, that season is long. You have 6 days a week of wrestling. Some of you are wrestling 2 a days for 4 or 5 of those days. I mean, it gets to be a lot. And maybe you just overthink. You need to learn to put the glass down and say, right? It's like the famous college professor. He holds up a glass of water and goes, is this glass heavy? And they say no. He's like, what if I hold it for an hour? What if I try to hold it for 10 hours? They're like, you can't do that. It's too heavy. He's like, yeah, you got to put your goals aside, put your troubles aside, put your worries aside, get away from them, rest mentally, rest physically, rest emotionally, come back and pick it back up. That's a skill, right? I've been trying to teach that to my kids, all of you. We talk about this stuff in practice. Not every practice, right? That's the reason you should be following us on social media and binging through all of these advice videos. We can't have a 6-hour talk before every practice. We can't do it. You just got to like immerse yourself in everything that we put out there for you guys and take notes and write it down. And, you know, make sure you're following through and you're not going to be perfect. Right? And I teach this just to Kate. I'm like, this 80% rule. As long as it's 80%, you know, you're never going to feel 100%. Our Oklahoma State coaches, once he said, you're only going to have 5 matches in your life where you feel perfect, amazing, before, during, and after the match. Only 5. And I remember thinking, and those are going to happen on accident. They don't happen on purpose, right? So it's not going to be perfect. Don't beat yourself up. You don't have to be perfectly confident. It's okay to be a human and have human thoughts. It's okay to have a little bit of self-doubt and to have a little bit of fear about, you know, what if I don't accomplish this goal? What if I don't do this? What if this happens? It's okay. But we got to like replace those thoughts with other thoughts. What can I do? What types am I going to focus on? I am committed to holding position. I am committed to firing off shots. I've got fired up before my matches. I've erased the fear. I'm excited about being here. I got a smile on my face. I'm excited about this. I want to be in this moment. I want to be in this match. I want to be here. I want to have the crowd. I want to be in front of them. I want to be on the big stage, right? You flood your mind with that. It's like taking this cup of coffee and just putting gushing cold water into that cup. Eventually we'll flush everything out and we'll be fresh, cold, pure water. You got to flush out your mind. These are things we talk about constantly. So, you know, when you're taking inventory of your season, what went right, what went wrong, what can you do better, what maybe was out of your control, what's out of your control that maybe you can deal with better next time. Like maybe the weight cutting. Maybe you held weight too long, right? We don't like you to go down until after Christmas. Maybe you have a conversation with your coach and say, hey, my career's coming to an end. I always lay a big egg and I'm terrible at the end of season because of this weight cutting. I need some relief. I cannot do this for 5 months a year. And maybe that's something you can do differently. So when you're taking inventory, think about all of these issues here and these areas. And now, if you're 6 years old, Come to practice, learn the moves. You need a lot of live wrestling. You need a few tournaments. Low pressure. Don't worry about setting goals. Okay, good. That's 6-year-olds. When you're a high-level middle school wrestler, high-level high school wrestler, we're dumping more into it. There's more at stake. There's more pressure, right? So, and that's never going to change. Wrestling will not change for you. The 9-year-old who's in the Tulsa National Finals is feeling the same anxiety as a grown man in the NCAA Finals, or I'm assuming a grown man in the Olympic Finals. The pressure you feel in the state finals as a high school kid is no different than the pressure you feel in a youth level. So wrestling doesn't get any harder. It's so beautiful. It just stays the same. So can you fix the way it is now? No, right? It's like I tell in our little talks. You know, I've been in British Columbia a couple of times. These guys they're cutting lumber, and there's like that much ice on the trees, and they're just out there kicking ass. And I'm like, how do these guys do it? And my hunting guy was like, that's just all they know. We don't, he goes, Nick, we don't think about the weather. We just go do what we do. We go to the park, we walk our dog. We don't worry about the snow. We don't worry about it's 20 below. We don't think about it. We dress for it and we go live our life. He's like, these guys they don't know any different. They jump up and they go climb the side of the mountain in 18 inches of snow and they cut wood. That's what they do. I was like, God, that's right. Here I am. So yeah, you have to accept it. Wrestling is hard. It is difficult. It's physically demanding. Their nerves and anxiety is never going to change. You have to accept it. You're not going to change it. You're not going to make it go away. You have to accept it. Then you have to operate within the parameters, just like those guys operate within the weather conditions. It's no different, right? The Olympic Training Center has a sign that says, a rock is hard, the water is wet. And all that means is, shut up, deal with it. Oh, it's all wet. Well, dude, you're standing in the water. Oh, my head hurts. That rock was hard. Oh, it's a rock. What'd you expect? So accept it. So take inventory, look how you can improve, write it down, and go again. But the 2 things you should not allow to happen is don't allow yourself to fade at the end of the season, right? I had a talk with one of our wrestlers, and I'm like, hey, I don't care if you're ready for season to be over. I don't care if you're ready to eat pizza. I don't care. You know, the military guys who are in a helicopter hovering over a jungle, they got to parachute into the jungle. They got to go do stuff. They don't think about, oh, I wish I wasn't here. I wish I was on vacation with my wife. No, they got a job to do. You have a job to do. I don't care if you miss your girlfriend. I don't care if you just want to be a normal kid again. No, the state tournament. Let's get it. You can't, you don't have, no. And if you fade at the end of the season because of this, that's on you. You got to knock it off and not let it happen again. Secondly, after state, it's good to say, okay, now how can I make next year better? I'm so excited. I want to go. I want to go. I want to go. But you shouldn't be doing that a month before state, a week before state. Oh, I can't wait till next year. No, why would we think about next year? It's like, oh, I can't wait till I have my next child. No, this one is here. Why don't you take care of that one? Right? Oh, I can't wait till next year. I'm going to do better at school. Dude, we got 3 months left of school. Why don't you try to get all your grades up to an A? So I see that a lot because I have a lot of conversations with high school kids and the youth parents. And they're like, oh, this is what we're thinking. I'm like, no, you should not be thinking about next season. We got districts. Tell your kids, no, focus here. Don't focus over there. Nope, you focus right there. You focus right there because that's how we're going to succeed. So leading into the off season, I don't know how many state champs and medalists we had. They're compiling the list right now. We had like 11 girls in the final, tons of guys. Some of those medal stands had 3-4 academy kids on one medal platform, right? And So, you know, we're winning at a high level and you're winning at a high level, but some of the individual stuff is completely up to you with our help, okay? Like I've said many times, I can hire you to come and paint my office. I can buy a painted office. I can buy a car that is waxed and cleaned and looks beautiful. You cannot write a check to have a six-pack, Mom and Dad. You cannot write a check and be able to deadlift 300 pounds. David, you cannot. You cannot write a check and be able to get away from everybody in the state of Missouri from bottom. Kelly, you have to do that on your own. Now, we're going to help. You've got the partners. You've got keys to a $2 million facility, right? You've got a strength program there. We've got coaches. We've got workout partners all over the place. Drive here, drive there, drive there, drive there. Come to competition camps. I mean, you've got everything you need. But I feel like the number one thing that keeps us from winning sometimes is we keep making the same mistakes, and they're your mistakes. If we can help to fix them, let us know. Every email says, if I can help you, don't hesitate. Every email we send, here's my phone number. Let me know. Don't suffer in silence. Let me know. I tell the kids, you come find me. You come find a coach. We will answer it. We will fix it. We will take care of it. And many of you did, right? I'm in constant contact with so many kids during the season. But you can't hire someone to do your push-ups for you. You can hire someone to paint your office. I just did. But you can't hire someone to give you the best single leg in the state of Missouri. You can't hire someone to keep you from choking. You can't hire someone to keep you from hanging out with losers or to quit staying up late and playing on TikTok when you should be sleeping. You can't hire someone to do some of this stuff. That's the frustrating part about a gym ownership, right? So much of this is on you. Okay, Mom, you're down to 14% body fat. You're looking great. 2 months later, you haven't been into the gym and you gained 30 pounds and you're coming back, right? No, what have you been doing, right? What are you doing on your own? What are you doing on your own in the wrestling room? Are you drilling the core skills? We said, you guys are going to get worse, some of you, during high school season. Some of your coaches are phenomenal, but they have a lot of kids to deal with. Are you drilling the core skills of wrestling? Are you getting to practice 20 minutes early and drilling your elbow pass to your drive single leg, right? Are you drilling your 4 best stand-ups in wrestling? Are you studying the mental game and some of these things that we've talked about constantly, you know? So at Oklahoma State years ago, they pointed all the All-Americans, national champs, Olympians, all this stuff. And, you know, I was there 6 years, gray shirt, red shirt, started for 4 years, and we won 3 national titles and plus 1 dual team national championship. So we had 4 national titles in the 6 years I was there. I've been around some high-level stuff. And my high school team was nationally ranked. We had 6 in the finals and 4 champs. So I've been around some good teams. I've never not been on a phenomenal team, ever. I've been very fortunate. Now we've built a phenomenal program that emulates that and that you guys just can plug into. But one thing they said was, you can accomplish your goals here. Many people, hundreds of people before you have done it. You were in the right place. And they said, if you do not accomplish your goals here at Oklahoma State, the only place to look to blame is in the mirror. That's it. I feel like, you know, our academy has that. We've got how many coaches, constant access to the facility and the workout partners and the coaches, you know, and if you can only train once a week, great. But if you train 3 days a week, and you come to 5 competition camps and you're lifting weights like a monster 3 days a week, I mean, you can go 3 to 4 days a week. You can lift and wrestle at the same time. And tomorrow you can take off and be a kid. You only got to work out 3 days a week, 3 or 4. And you get 3 days a week, maybe 4 days a week off to do nothing, just to be a kid. It's beautiful. But, you know, it starts with taking inventory. Make a to-do list of what you need to fix. It might be bottom wrestling. It might be your mental game. It might be choking in big matches. It might be not recovering. It might be overtraining. It might be undertraining. I don't know. It's a whole host of things. Then you write down what you're going to do. How am I going to get strong? Where's my plan? Where's my program? When am I going to lift? Then the third thing you do is you schedule. When am I going to wrestle? when am I going to lift weights? And then you type a schedule, and you don't schedule it around your life. You schedule it into your life. So you might say, well, I can't lift at Nick's gym because I live an hour and a half away. So I can only train, at Lafayette once a week, and maybe on Thursdays I go to Nick's gym. But the other days a week I'm on my own. Okay, who's your workout partner? Every Monday, who's your workout partner? What's the practice plan? Is it typed out? Are you going to tape it to the wall in your wrestling room? Or are you just going to go there and just roll around? No, where's the plan? Who's your workout partner for Mondays immediately after school? Then you go into the weight room. Then Wednesday after school, you go to the weight room. Friday after school, you go to the weight room. So it's so convenient. It's like, okay, I'm done with school. I got 15 minutes, and then I go to that weight room. It's 2 hallways over. So when you schedule these training efforts, you plug them into your existing life, they're easy to do. It's like the women and men who exercise on lunch, right? They may have like a small lunch, takes 5 minutes to eat a little bit, and they may go walk. They're gonna be able to maintain a exercise regimen because they schedule it into their current day. So I would like to encourage you to schedule your plan into your life. Within reason, competition camp is March 16th and 17th. That's not going to change. If you want to come, hey, you might not get to go to grandma's that weekend. You might not get to hang out with your girlfriend that weekend, or your boyfriend. You might not get to do some things, right? That's when the camp is. Some of it you just have to sacrifice. Monday is high school practice. Wednesday is high school practice at Lafayette. I got to be there. No, I can't work. Nope, Taco Bell, I can't work. No, I can't stay after with my boys and my buddies. Can't happen. I've got practice. This does not end. So some of it is built in, and you have to schedule your life around it. But the on your own training times you schedule within your current life, and that way you can maintain the consistency. And you can keep doing that for 8, 10, 12 months straight. So there's some tips about hurdles, roadblocks, how to make things better, the plan, and you're in a good place to where you can accomplish high goals. Just quit making the same mistakes, quit self-sabotaging, and keep doing what you're doing. But some of these individual things that you have to fix are very important. It becomes more micro. Macro is big, micro is small. Micro training. If your flexibility is crap, and as soon as someone gets to your leg, you can't defend, do you stretch it? Do you stretch for 10 minutes straight at the end of every practice? No? Okay. How long have you been, had terrible flexibility? Forever. Okay, so this is never going to end. Are you serious or not about becoming flexible enough that you can keep from getting taken down easily? Okay, see, I can't do that for you. That's not built into the PWA practice plan. Individual stretching, getting 8 hours of sleep a night. That is not built in. I can't do that, okay? So write down the things that you must do, and you must do them, and your whole wrestling career is going to change. And I think once we understand that, life gets very easy. Good luck.